So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do the parallel park. There are loads of different ways of doing this, and your instructor may teach you a different way. At the end of the day, there is no right or wrong as long as the final product is correct. So the way that I'll show you in this video is the way that I think makes this maneuver as easy as possible. Now, when it comes to marker systems, it's really important to remember that it is a general rule of thumb. It's not an exact science, and also your perception may be slightly different. You've probably had this on the bay park where we've said to you, do your turn when your shoulder's in line with a line. And then when you're looking at it, you're thinking, hold on, that's not my shoulder, that might be my elbow, or it might be at the back of my seat. That's fine, it's down to your perception. So if you see it slightly different, fine, use what you see. Okay, it's not a dictatorship. You don't have to do it exactly the way that we say. It's advisory. Now, the let rock roll live technique, which I'm going to show you now, left, right, right, left, is a way that a lot of instructors teach it, but there is some slight tweaks with the second and the third markers, and we're going to talk about that shortly. First thing to do is park up on the side of the road, and the examiner will then say to you, if you're on your test, that I'd like you to reverse into the space this side of the vehicle in front of you, going back no more than 2 car lengths and being close to the curb. For this manoeuvre, do not worry about the driveway. You are allowed to block them. So what they're basically saying is they want you to pull up alongside the vehicle that's in front, then reverse into the space that you're already in. Close to the curb, so we want you within a drain's width, so about 30 centimetres maximum from the curb. You don't need to be right up against it, and only the space of one vehicle in front, so a gap like we have in this picture here. So first thing that you're going to do is your observations to pull up alongside that vehicle. If you use POM routine like the way that I teach it, that's fine. Again, if your instructor teaches it different, that's not a problem. And you want to be about an arm's length away from their vehicle. If you are slightly further than that, that's fine, just don't get too close. You don't want to be too wide from that car though, because what will happen is when you do your first turn, the front of your car will start to swing out, and then that will cause a problem with the vehicles on the opposite side of the road if you're on a narrow street. So we want to be fairly close to the target car. We then secure the car into reverse, again POM routine or general observations before you start to reverse back. Now the first turn is when the back of your car is in line with the extreme of their vehicle. So with the vehicle that we've got in front of us, the car's facing us, it's facing the wrong direction. So when the back of my car lines up with the front bumper of their car, I'm going to do one complete turn of the steering wheel to the left. So I'm not trying to go full lock, I'm just doing one 360-degree turn, so the steering wheel looks like a T position. Again, T position is basically just the design of the spoke, so it just basically your spoke design looks like that. Once you've done that one turn left, you'll then start to carry on the reverse, but keep the observations going. And it's really important that we keep observations going throughout this manoeuvre. If there are any vehicles approaching at any time, stop. If they have to stop because they can't get past you, then you can proceed. But if they carry on driving past you and you're still moving, it's a fail. And remember, your observations are 50% of the manoeuvre. So once you've done that one turn left, your car will start to swing out. And when we get to about a 45-degree angle, so if you think of it as a watch face, about 1:30, we'll do one complete turn of the steering wheel to the right. So the steering wheel will go back to straight. You'll then carry on going back, and your next marker or your next turning point will be a little bit longer than the gap between the first and the second turn. So during that time, again, just plenty of observations. Remember, in particular, look out the back window, okay? The rear view mirror doesn't count. You need to look out the rear. Then this is where the perception is. When you think your passenger is looking just down the side of their wing mirror, do one turn right. Now this third turn is what dictates the distance from the curb. So when you trial this, if you find that you're hitting the curb, do that turn a bit earlier. If you find that your gap is too big, then do the third turn a little bit later. As a general rule of thumb, the steeper the angle, the earlier you have to do the third turn. If you only get a shallow angle, so you get to say a 30-degree angle, then you'll do the third turn later. So it might be when you as a driver is looking at the passenger's wing mirror. So trial it, see what's going on. When you get to that point, you've done your your passenger's looking at their wing mirror, one turn to the right, so now you have got one turn on the steering wheel to the right hand side. That makes the back of the car swing out, and then when you get to parallel, go to straight. Now, be willing to adjust, and what I mean by that is keep an eye on your passenger wing mirror. If you can see that that curb is getting too far from the your car, put left turn on, get the car back over towards that curb. If you can see it's getting too close, go full lock right. And that's the advantage of just using the one turns rather than full lock. It gives you a little bit of leeway to fix it if it does go wrong. Now, once you've got to that point and you're happy with that distance, what you can do is move it forward if you feel that you're too far back, okay? If you need to adjust it, again, you are allowed to move forward to adjust. And a lot of people get worried about this on the driving test. Yes, it can be marked down as a driver fault or a minor by the examiner, but it's much better to get a minor fault or a driver fault than it is to get a major for just being too far. So if you need to move forward again, that's fine. You can even then reverse back again to make even more adjustments if needs be. But please remember observations, because what tends to happen when people are doing observations on their driving test, the nerves kick in and all they do is just stare at that wing mirror. And then what might happen is you get the perfect position from the curb, but you've not looked around enough because you were just focusing solely on that distance, and then you'll fail for the observations. So now I'm going to show you how that's done. Okay, so the examiner's asked you to do the manoeuvre. So the first thing you're going to do is your POM routine. Make sure it's safe. If there's any vehicles coming towards you as well, just wait here. So you're going to pull out and pull up alongside the blue target vehicle, about an arm's length away. Into reverse, look around, make sure it's safe, and then start to reverse back. When the back of my car is lined up with the front of their car, we're going to look around, make sure it's safe before we do the first turn. So I've done one turn left. Keep looking around. Then when you get to a 45-degree angle, you'll then do the one turn right. So now I'm going to come back towards the curb at that 45-degree angle. Then when you think your passenger is looking down the side of their wing mirror, so around about there, we then do the one turn right. Now, remember, this turn is what dictates the distance from the curb. So what I need to do, I've got the car coming, so I'm just going to stop here. Look around again. Keep an eye on the side mirror for distance. Now it looks a bit close, so I've gone to full lock here. That's now a decent distance. So now I just need to straighten up the steering wheel so it's done. Now, if I can see that my distance from the curb is too far, I will then adjust it. So in this one, I'm going to do my third turn too early, and you'll see that I'm coming out from the curb too soon. So by looking at that mirror, I can see that there's that gap. So all I'm going to do is just put left turn on, allow the car to get closer, and then I can do my outward steer. I'm just going to wait for this car. Again, a little bit forward, so I'll just put left turn before putting the right turn back on, and then back to straight. Then I'm happy with my distance there. If I want, I can always move forward. I'm at within my 2 car lengths, so that's not a problem at all. Once finished, the examiner will then ask you to drive on when safe to do so. So remember, let rock and roll live, left, right, right, left. Back of your car lines up with the back of their car or front of their car, one left. 45-degree angle, one turn right. Third turn, learn it. See where it is for you. If it's your passenger lining up their wing mirror, fine. If it's early or later, use that marker system. Keep an eye on your passenger wing mirror whilst doing those observations, and don't be afraid to turn that steering wheel. I hope that video has helped, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.